Hey folks, here at OS and VTXReviews.com. You're watching our video review of the Archos 101 or the Archos 10.1 internet tablet, which, as the name suggests, features a 10.1-inch capacitive multi-touch enabled touchscreen, which makes it one of the larger tablets available for purchase running on Android 2.2 Froyo originally. The interesting thing about this tablet is that the price point is extremely low, priced at only $250. It's very cost effective and available at a lot of retail locations such as Best Buy and even online at Amazon and eBay.com. The device overall has a pretty simplistic look, and it's in the same design language as most Archos-based tablets and media devices. If we look at the smaller cousin, which is the Archos 7 Home tablet, we see that we have the same brushed aluminum finish on the sides, the same very thin portfolio, and the same overall kickstand design, and also the same Android interface on the inside. What is new, however, is again this device actually uses a capacitive touchscreen instead of a resistive one, which is found on the Archos 7 Home tablet. Taking a closer look at the design on the front here, we have on the edge a proximity sensor and also a front-facing VGA camera, which is capable of being used for video chatting applications like Skype and WeChat, and it's a pretty responsive camera, pretty good even under low light conditions, which is rather impressive. There is no ambient light sensor. There's also no built-in LED light either for you to illuminate your face when you're talking, however. As you can see, the device is really slim in terms of portfolio. Despite being really slim, we like the fact that there are a few metal and plastic components involved, which gives the device a pretty sturdy feel in the hand, and it definitely doesn't feel like a cheap product of only $250. In fact, it feels like a very well-made tablet, perhaps even better than some of the competitors, such as the ViewSonic G tablet, which came out at around the same timeline. The top of the device doesn't have any ports, and everything is mostly located to the left of the device, and they correspond to a volume rocker that's pretty tactile and easy to press, a power on and off switch, an LED indicator for the power, a 3.5mm jack for listening to music, though you can also use the stereo Bluetooth on board. There's the full USB 2.0 hub, which you can use to plug in hard drives and use the file manager to read and transfer data. There's also a built-in micro USB for charging and syncing information, but to actually fully charge the device, you have to use the proprietary Archos-based charger, which is a downside of this tablet. We don't like to see proprietary chargers, and we can't figure out why Archos couldn't have just used the micro USB that's provided here. There's also a micro SD card reader on here to expand the memory and so forth, and of course you have a micro HDMI port for video out for 720p HD resolution video, which can also be played back on the unit screen itself. One particular downside to this device is it has an extremely transflective and glossy screen, which makes it difficult to see under direct sunlight. Also, the device's screen is a huge smudge magnet as well, so it gets pretty dirty if you plan on using it a lot with smudgy or greasy fingers. The back of the unit is also, very similar to other Archos tablets with a brushed aluminum finish, which makes the device have a pretty good feel in the hand, pretty good weight. There's no creaking or cringing at all when you're holding the device in your hands. On the back, you also find you'll find the speakers, you also find some ventilation holes, and of course, in the very smack center is the infamous kickstand, which Archos tablets are known for. It's a great selling point, and one of the reasons why you might consider this tablet as opposed to many other more inexpensive Android-based tablets. The kickstand is very firm and it can be adjusted at various different angles, which is an improvement over other Archos kickstands. This means you can actually adjust the angle if you're on a plane or if you're in a car and you want to watch a movie or if you want to type on the device. You can see the kickstand can all the way expand up to almost 180 degrees, and this allows the device to be propped up at a comfortable angle, mainly for typing if you're in this mode. You can of course prop it up even higher if you're watching video, but then this is a pretty comfortable angle for most people just for using the on-screen keyboard as kind of a mini computer, if I may say so. Turning the device on, you can see that the screen itself has a resolution of 1024 by 600 resolution, which is not the most high-definition screen out there, but it's more than capable of displaying pretty crisp text and images and videos overall. We also like how the 10.1 inches is more of a stretched or a horizontal view for watching videos and browsing the web, as opposed to a more boxy design that a 9.7-inch screen like the iPad might transition towards. As far as the responsiveness of the device, it's pretty quick and lucid. In terms of specs, the device has 512 megabytes of RAM coupled with a 1 gigahertz processor on board, which, it isn't lightning fast, but for most web browsing applications and basic apps and games will run just fine. If you are planning to play a lot of GPU or, CPU taxing games, and the latest versions of games from the Google Play Store, those might have a few issues here and there. The device is also pretty good at multitasking, but again, if you run too many applications, the device will will freeze and be sluggish and crash occasionally. Overall, performance-wise, is definitely an improvement over the previous Archos 7 home tablet, which only had a 600 MHz processor, and as you might expect, apps and overall home screens and animations are a lot more smoother on the product. Of course, with only Android 2.2 Froyo, it is still quite outdated, but again, you still have access to your main Google services like Gmail, the gallery, some maps for direction and navigation, and so on and so forth. Now on the sidebar here, we have access to actual on-screen control buttons for the Android navigation, including for the search, for the home. We also have a menu key for the different settings and also a back key. And these on-screen controls makes the device's screen be a little bit smaller when we're actually using it, but when we're watching videos and movies, this part will automatically expand for the entire view, which is quite nice. We like how this is a more modern looking design rather than having actual physical controls and buttons on the sides and the bezels of the device. You can see the transitions here are also pretty fast. A downside to this device is out of the box, Archos does not provide the actual Google Marketplace or the Google Play Store, and instead they only include a third-party application store called AppsLib. It's not a bad app store at all. It provides quite a few games here and there, and the most popular titles such as Angry Birds will be provided, most ebooks and such will be there. It's just not as up-to-date as Google's official store, which provides a lot more apps. However, installing the actual app store is a very, very easy affair. Just install it on a computer in a hard drive or a USB thumb drive, or maybe even a micro SD card. That you can plug it into this device and sideload it in a matter of seconds, and it's very easy to use and very doable. Taking a look at this device, it also offers pinch to zoom support, which is useful in the web browser as well as in the gallery view. So if we launch it, you can see that. The web browser itself does not offer actual Flash support, so unfortunately you are limited to basic mobile site versions of different pages like YouTube, but there is a native YouTube app which you can use to watch videos and content like that. If you wanted to go to a quick site just for testing, such as New York Times, we can go ahead and type that out. As far as the keyboard is concerned, it is the stock experience, which isn't bad at all, but it is a little bit stretched. We wish there was Skype pre-included, but again, you can install that on by yourself. So again, page loading speeds are actually pretty responsive and fast, especially for the processor, and we were generally pretty pleased with the performance. If you plan on reading a lot, this is a pretty light tablet. Again, it feels very well made, so taking it with you would be a ease, especially with the thin portfolio. You can browse on the go, watch a few videos on the go with the screen, and everything should be just fine. Again, the device will load the full versions of sites instead of the mobile versions out of the box, which is also a nice feature. As far as battery life is considered, the Archos 101 isn't the best tablet out there. It runs out of battery and juice quite fast, more than we would have liked to see, and the battery was completely drained after I'd say a day or two of usage, and that was kind of moderate usage in between. So you definitely should bring a charger with you if you plan on taking this on the go, unfortunately. The Wi-Fi reception speed is quite good as far as walking around and taking it from the router. It actually works quite well. As you can see here though, basic images and videos will load. It displays a few flash elements here and there, but not all flash elements will load in full entirety, but it tries to load them pretty well. And again, the New York Times is a very complex page, but things are looking pretty good. Now, pinch to zoom is actually pretty smooth as well. This is a pretty, again, complex page to load, but again, reading on the screen seems to be a pretty enjoyable experience overall. The accelerometer can also be kicked on board if you want to turn that on, and it allows the device to be tilted at different angles for the display to automatically orientate itself, which comes in handy when you're planning on using the device to play games like racing and so on and so forth. Again, you can see a few gaps that aren't loaded, that are flash heavy, but for the most part, things will work just fine. If we go home, again, you do have the ability to customize with the different widgets and applications. There are 5 different home screens you can populate. As far as the build of Android on here, it's a pretty vanilla build, other than the fact that there isn't the official Google App Store on board. This device, again, runs a pretty clean install of Android 2.2, which we definitely appreciate from Archos, and it means that you can actually customize the device to your liking and, again, use kind of whatever app that you want, and without having too much bloatware and software that you don't really want cripple down the processor, such as the VSonic G tablet. And again, live home screens run just fine and are pretty fast and responsive, and lucid as well. You can of course customize the device with more widgets that you can see here, and also remove them if you don't like them by dragging them over here to the garbage can, for example, and add more icons as you might so desire. Otherwise, the device again runs pretty well as far as a tablet is considered. There is that basic webcam that we talked about. Again, I'm going to show you here. It works pretty well. If we wanted to take a snapshot, let's take that image. You can see that snapshots are pretty instantaneous. The device comes with 8 gigabytes of internal storage out of the box as well, which is quite a lot, to be honest. And you can also, of course, add more, again, with the USB thumb drive or even the micro SD card. And again, images here are pretty well captured as well. And it's pretty easy to customize and populate. Now, the biggest selling point of getting an Archos tablet is also for the video experience, and that's because Archos is infamous for making very good PMP players and audio devices. And you know, the reason why Archos is great is because it supports so much different file formats right out of the box, and you can basically plug in any video file from you know, MP4 files or even the more rare files, and the device will read them without having you to transfer or convert the video files. And this allows the device to be really great if you plan on downloading a lot of videos from your computer and just directly dragging them onto the device. It will basically play them on the go. Audio quality is also excellent with the built-in speakers, and even better if you use either the stereo Bluetooth, which is very good, and or you can also, of course, use the 3.5mm headphone jack to listen to music. Again, some other extras that are thrown in here include the aforementioned YouTube application. It plays back your video pretty well. There is a sound recorder, which means that there's a microphone set that's included on the side for, again, for video chatting purposes or recording a few musical vids here and there. And as far as the YouTube browser is concerned, you can play HD video quality, which is pretty impressive, but again, it's a little bit sluggish by today's standards, but it still works pretty well. So if we wanted to search one of our own videos, again, the keyboard pops up, which is very wide, very easy to press, but just a little bit stretched. So if we wanted to type OS reviews, again, the touchscreen is very responsive. It loads our videos right there, and we can tap on it, and if we want to watch our channel trailer, it's going to load and show our comments. A pretty clean interface overall, and I have to say that, again, it's pretty easy to use. Now, again, there are a few hiccups here and there, of course, because this is Android 2.2, so it's not as smooth or optimized as a more up-to-date version of Android will be, perhaps, such as Android 4.4 KitKat or even 4.0 Ice Cream Sandwich. Again, there's going to be a few more bugs here and there, and error messages might pop up if you try to do something that requires too much of the processor, that taxes it too much. But for the most part, day-to-day applications like web browsing, some light YouTube videos, a few games here and there, music, watching MP4 videos, watching files that you might sideload, using the device as an HD media device, and then plugging into an HD television, those things will all work very nicely. Also included here is a native, again, the aforementioned Archos video player, which supports all the different files. A file reader is also included here. You also have access to Archos remote control, which allows you to use an infrared blaster for you to control the television set or your DVD player with your Archos tablet, which is a pretty cool experience. Otherwise, a very clean install of Android, a few extras here and there, but that's all. You have Gmail support, Maps, and the Google services that you might expect from getting an Android tablet. Overall, would we recommend this device? I would say so. It offers pretty decent performance, especially for the retail price, which is very inexpensive. A great build quality. The screen is pretty bright, pretty vibrant. Not the greatest in terms of brightness, not the greatest in terms of viewing angles, but it's very large. We like the orientation and the screen's width, and we like the responsiveness, the price, and the design. Overall, it's a vast improvement over Archos' smaller sibling, the Archos 7 Home tablet, which was simply atrocious for its irresponsiveness in the processing speed and the very horrible resistive touchscreen. And so this version really upgrades on that and provides a much better experience. It's what the Archos 7 Home tablet should have been, and we're glad that Archos released this to kind of compete with the larger tablets of the world. So thanks for watching this video review here at osandvtxreviews.com. This has been our full video review of the Archos 10.1 or the Archos 101 Android Internet tablet here at osandvtxreviews.com, and also our brother site at OS Tech News.